Hi guys, coming in. Hello everyone. Thank you for joining.
Oh, there's a monkey.
Yes, Chinese New Year has a monkey. Hi Krista. It is nice to have you tuning in. Thank you. Right. Hi guys. Happy Friday afternoon. I hope everybody is doing well. I just wanted to pop in here and share something that has really helped me with dinner sanity in this house. So I know I have some new people in here, so I'm going to go ahead and introduce myself. My name is Mary, and I am a homeschooling mother to 4 children. They are 13 and 11-year-old girls and 9 and 6-year-old boys. And my blog can be found at notbefore7.com. Not Before 7 also is a Facebook page at facebook.com/notbefore7. And I've been trying to keep it updated, but I do find Periscope to be a little bit of an easier method for me to communicate. So I have a more updated Periscope catch page than I do blog right now, but I'm working on it. So I just wanted to share, first of all, I want to make it clear, I do not sell Wildtree spices. I am not a consultant for the Wildtree company, just a mom who found this idea, and I have been using it to help with my dinner time. So take it for what it's worth, and if you can find a consultant near you because you're interested in this, then I'll just explain to you how it works. Tastefully Simple and other at-home spice companies like this might do the same thing. So the one I'm talking about that I have found is Wildtree, and it is a spice and seasoning company similar to Tastefully Simple. I think Wildtree was started by a mom who was having a hard time that were healthy for her kids. So Wildtree as a company is very sensitive to allergies and has stuff that's gluten-free and things like that. So if that's a concern in your house, I know they're really helpful. But like I said, what I'm about to explain that I've been doing, you possibly could find Tastefully Simple consultants or other people. So I am going to now put the phone on my tripod so I can show you how this works. So let's see if I can get this on here. Okay. So how these freezer meal parties work, I found this through a Facebook group, is basically the consultant sends me out a bunch of meal choices. So one was called Soups On, and one was called One Stop Crock. They were all crock pot recipes. Another one was called Get Your Grill On. And she sends me an email with all the choices. So it would have all the recipes listed to tell me what Get Your Grill On would be. And Easy Breezy freezer meal recipes. And I know there are ones for the 21-day fix, and there's paleo ones. There was one for the Super Bowl coming up. I mean, there are so many meal ideas. So what I do as the customer, I pick which meal I want to do. And I'm going to walk you through the Soups On because I have everything. So when I looked at the list of soups, let me show you, where do I have? Here they are. When I looked at the list of soups, I decided to make this one. It had 10 different soups. And looking down, I thought, well, that'll be perfect. So what you do is you then pay $75 or $80, whatever it is, and you get 7 or 8 full-size products. So these are not necessarily the products that came with this. These are just ones that I have in the pantry. So what you're actually buying is the products, which I like to buy spicy and seasoning. Oh, you're welcome, Megan. I like to buy seasonings and stuff like that. Yes, Megan, you are the one that inspired this scope. So I hope it's somewhat helpful because freezer meals have really helped me when toddlers were clinging to me. I used to call it the witching hour, and it happened right around 4:30 when I was ready for dinner prep and kids just were climbing on me. So you would get whatever products go with your meal. So the ones that came with this one would be whatever's used in the recipes. We'll see as we go through. But when you show up that night, she would have the products that come with your dinners all ready for you. And the reason I have all these is because you get 7 or 8 full-size products and you have plenty left over. So sometimes you have enough leftover that you can make 2 of all the meals. Oh my gosh, the arsenic hour. That's awesome, Melissa. I love that. Okay, so this is then what I receive before the actual party. This is the prep work. So she sends a shopping list and tells you how to prep all of your bags. No problem, Melissa. Get it on catch. That's what it's there for. So what I do is it tells me what to chop up. So for these soups, I needed onions, green pepper, celery, carrots, broccoli, and cream cheese. So I usually take a Sunday afternoon and just prepare all the bags. This is something you can, if you have older children, you could get them involved. If you have toddlers climbing all over you, this is when you send daddy out to the playground and you chop everything up. And then it tells you what to do with your meats. And what I liked, because I used to do something called Let's Dish, where I would go and make the meals and they had all the meats, they had everything done there. And there was an advantage to that, but it was a lot more costly. So the fact that I can buy my own meats and use what I already own means I can buy them at a better price. And then it tells you how to assemble the bags. So it tells you to put in freezer bag 1, label it number 1, put in this much chicken breast, put in your frozen diced hash browns, your corn, and your minced garlic. Then label bag 2, and this is what you put in. And it just tells you how to prepare 10 bags, actually. I only have 8 here. So yeah, all of this comes ahead of time. And then you store everything in the freezer. How many servings? They say 4 to 6, Melissa. I have a family of 6. And because some of these meals my 6-year-old won't eat anyway, I get away with them. I don't have to double them. But I have a feeling as my children learn to eat real and good food, it might not feed all 6 of us, and I would have to double it. But for now, it's been working for us, so it's been good. And with soup night, we typically have salad and bread anyway, so it's not like, as long as I had at least 6 bowls worth, which I did in here. Then when you show up that night, you bring all of your freezer bags that you prepared, and you bring them in a cooler so they're nice and cold. They're not frozen yet. You bring that with you, and waiting for you is your recipes. And this, oh, I don't have what you do while you're there. Oh, darn it. These are the recipes you bring home. Okay, well, when you get there, she will tell you, these are the things that came with it, what to add into the freezer bag to get it all ready. So when you show up that night, you've already put these things in your freezer bag. And minced garlic, because it wasn't in my kit, she often has those on her island. So any of the extra ingredients are provided for you. These 3 came in my kit. So I then had them waiting for me, and I bring cup measures and I put them in the bags. And then it told me what I would need at cooking time. So all of this was ready to go then. And then I moved on to bag 2. Keep in mind the first 4 things were already in the bag. I had already done that at home. And then while I was there, you'll see the taco seasoning shows up again. The chicken bouillon soup base shows up again. They were in this recipe. So you're using more of the product you got. And then you put, you're not buying the meat, you're just buying the spices. And then the next one was taco soup. So you've brought the meat already in the bag. You are just purchasing the spices and then the 2 hours at the person's house to sit and do it. Though I think you're getting the spices for what you would pay anyway. It's not like you're paying more because you're coming to her house and leaving with 10 bags. And then you use the same spices, this is my favorite spice now, to make the next soup. And you prepare them all. Go home and you have 10 ready to go meals in your freezer. No, you provide the meat. I'm sorry, I showed what you have to do at home. You get prep, here it is. You get a prep list, and this tells you what you need to have purchased. And then you have, it tells you exactly what to put in each bag. Sorry, there's food like spilled on these. So this tells you what to bring to the freezer party, already ready to go in bags. And then you're gonna add the seasonings and spices that you buy there. And grapeseed oils and marinades and whatever came with the group of meals that you ordered. We have been fairly happy with all of the meals, and I tend to repeat them. Yes, $75 covers, it ends of the spices. You end up with like 8 of these products. So you're paying about less than $10 per product, which if you look in the magazine, it's not like they're upcharging you. If you bought these spices, I'm trying to see any of the, here we go. If you bought some of these spices, they cost a variety of different amounts. This one came with my one. Tia Rosa's red enchilada sauce costs $9. So you're buying the spices and then having the time to use them to make 10 meals and come home. And what I was doing is using 2 of those a week for the month. And I was doing it once a month for a while. But then I have to be honest, I ended up with so many of the spices, which is what you see on my island. Here's what I love about their website. So what do you do with all these leftover spices? Sometimes I buy just enough to redo the 10 meals again, and that has been really helpful. Or, let me see if I can open my computer here. It locks down so quickly. And I will show you how, okay, here's their website. So if you go, I'm gonna go ahead and flip on everyone. If you go to wildtree.com, it'll bring you to shopwildtree.com. You can find an affiliate on here and see if they have a freezer party. Some people, they want you to host it at your house. I have found a consultant who hosts it at her own house once a month so that I don't have to worry about inviting friends and having enough people and all that kind of stuff. I can just show up and get it done. Then what you can do is if you have a product that you didn't finish using, like I had apple balsamic vinegar left over the other day, and I wanted to know what could I make for dinner with that leftover apple balsamic vinegar, then it gives me all sorts of recipes of what I could make. And what did we actually end up making? Oh, we made this one, this balsamic chicken skillet. Just when I looked at the recipe, I had everything I basically needed for it. Now, I will tell you, I did not have Italian salad dressing mix, so I just bought a good seasonings one from the grocery store, and that worked fine. This is what I had left over I was trying to finish. I didn't have garlic grapeseed oil, but I did have just plain grapeseed oil, so I threw in a teaspoon of garlic. This was actually delicious. But this isn't going to help you if you have a toddler hanging on you. This is just a way to get some dinner ideas with the leftover spices after the freezer meal party. So that is what I have done. That works for me. I actually haven't done one for about 4 months now because I've been trying to use up the spices that I have, because one of my big issues, I no longer have toddlers climbing on me while I'm trying to cook. One of my big issues is just ideas. So having the leftover spices and stuff and using their website has given me a ton of ideas, and that's been really helpful. So that's how it works. So I found my Wildtree consultant on Facebook. Like I said, another at-home spice company is Tastefully Simple, and you might be able to find a consultant and maybe they do the same thing. Oh, and I think someone said Pampered Chef was doing this these days too. That Pampered Chef actually sells enough spices and marinades and stuff that they have been doing freezer parties for customers. So I am not associated with any of these companies. It's just something that I didn't even know existed until I saw another mom asking about freezer parties on Facebook, and the answers to her were really fascinating to me. So I contacted one of the consultants and said, please explain this to me. I would love to know what these freezer parties are. And then I've been doing it a bit ever since. So Chandy, I saw you in here saying you need to do that. Email me. Come with me next time. It would be so much fun. It's always fun to bring a friend. The consultant here actually does offer you like 10% off if you bring a friend. So, hi Grace, thanks for coming in. So does anybody have any other questions? I hope I explained it well enough to tell you how it works, but you are buying all of the food to put in the bags, the meat and the veggies. You're doing it ahead of time. Oh, good. If you have a friend who's a consultant, see if you can get her to do it like once every month or once every other month. I mean, it's a great deal for them as consultants because they're making sales on their product, and it's really a fun mom's night out. The consultant I go to puts out some munchies and puts out some wine. You know, I guess money saver is up to you. It's a lot cheaper than eating out, obviously. And it's a lot less expensive than something like Let's Dish, where you go and the meat and all the veggies and everything's there for you. I think when I was doing that, I was paying like $210 or $220 some dollars for 10 dinners. Because they charge a lot more because they're providing all the food. So it depends, I guess, on what kinds of spices and seasonings you usually buy or if you make your own. For me, $75 to come home with 10 dinners and a bunch of marinades and seasonings and spices that I can use for the next, 2 or 3 months was worth it. But if you're really good at all that stuff on your own and you have seasonings and spices you like, you might not find that it's worth it to you. And sometimes you end up with stuff that you're not sure you're going to use. Honestly, this one, this made a beef stew that was unreal delicious. And I was the only one in my house that liked it. So I just need to force this back on the menu one night and throw frozen pizza in for everybody else. So I've had this bottle for a little while. Actually, the neighbors really liked it. That's who I sent it to. Melissa, that's a really good question. The Tia Rosa's enchilada sauce, I remember specifically that I had half a bottle left, so I could double that recipe. Most of the time, I have enough of everything left that I can make all 10 dinners again. But sometimes, like the soup one, I will say, to make them all again, I had to buy a second of the chicken bouillon soup base. Woo, that lighting is hard. Because almost every single soup used it. So it was pretty much gone when I left that night. So it made the 10 dinners. But I had enough of everything else that I could have done it again. So I ended up just ordering from the girl a second one of these so that I could do it again. But again, this is just chicken bouillon soup base. You might be able to find it at your grocery store or something else. I'm not, necessarily partial to the Wildtree seasoning. Some of them, though, would be harder to imitate. Like this rancher steak rub has, it tells you what's in it. This is my favorite seasoning. I throw this now on salads. I throw this on everything. It is so good. It has salt, black pepper, garlic, allspice, cinnamon, cloves, and ginger. So it's kind of their thing. So that one I think would be harder to just pick up. Last night I wanted to use up, what were we using up last night that I used in that chicken? Oh, spicy carne asada seasoning. I had that left over and, I don't know where it is. Here it is. I had this one left in my pantry. So I did what I showed you online and I looked up dinners to go with this spicy carne asada seasoning. And they had one that you basically cut chicken into cubes and you mix this with grapeseed oil and ranch dressing mix, like the powder that could make a ranch dressing, which they sell. Well, I didn't have that. So I sent my husband and I just picked up the Hidden Valley Ranch one. And I substituted that and it was great. So for me, it's just really given me some good ideas. But had I been a new mom, when I had little ones, that's when I was going to Let's Dish. Probably, what did I do? Like 3 times a year? I'm asking my husband all this stuff. I think I was doing that like 3 times a year. Let's Dish, 3 or 4. Oh, yeah. So I was definitely not saving money. I was saving my sanity at that time. And that was what he's yelling from the other room. Heck yeah. I was insane. And I would go with a bunch of friends and we would go to Let's Dish together, and Let's Dish would always put out scones and we would sit and eat scones and make all these dinners. And now when I do the Wildtree, it's all women there and they chat and she puts out munchies and wine and we all just kind of sit there and we go home with 10 dinners. So for me, it's probably not costing me more than my regular groceries would. except that I'm not much of a creative cook, so I don't buy all these seasonings. So that's, I guess the argument could be made, it's costing me more, but it's helping me make better dinners. So more creative. I mean, around here, we'd eat like waffles every night, and pasta. So it's helped me. All right, sorry, I'm holding this, so it's starting to shake. Any other questions, guys? I hope this just gives you some ideas. Check around, see if there's anything in your, I know the Let's Dish thing goes by many, many, many names, but check for a Tastefully Simple, Wildtree, or Pampered Chef consultant. And, you know, if you're really good at this stuff, you can just look up, I know that fishmama.com, Jennifer Fisher, she has I was looking at her recipe books online today to order one, and she has one that is slow cooker recipes. So you could always get a group of gals and pick 10 of them to do together and have it all prepped ahead of time. For me, it's a time saver to have somebody else say, these are the meats you need, these are the vegetables you need, here's what to chop and put in the bag, and I don't have to do that research myself. But if you enjoy that kind of thing or have a group of friends and you want to do that, you totally could. You could just get a good crock pot recipe book or a good freezer recipe book, and you could make them together and then really save yourself some money because you're picking the recipes and you know your family would like them. For me, that's the part I'm not good at. So it's worth it to me to have somebody else put that all together for me. And they have really creative menus. I liked the grill one and that kind of thing. So I guess that is everything. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. The flying monkeys are really fun. I thought maybe it was Wizard of Oz, but it's hashtag Chinese New Year. So if you want flying monkeys in your scope, you just need to hashtag Chinese New Year and they'll fly away. There's a hashtag for footballs right now, too. I think it's SB50. Is it Super Bowl 50?
Yep.
Yeah, it's SB50, and you can get footballs, but I'm not a Super Bowl person, so I like the monkeys. All right, guys, have a wonderful weekend. I am, speaking of dinner, going to go. Oh, is it a different menu? You know, she gives me a choice of 8 every month because you're preparing it at home and she doesn't have to choose one menu for everyone to do. She sends me 8, it's usually like 6 to 8 choices, and every person coming can choose their own menu to do. So when I show up, I might not be doing the exact same recipes as the person next to me, because we each pick our own. And that's kind of a nice advantage of the fact that you're prepping your own meat and veggies, because you can pick the one that's going to work for your family, and everyone there doesn't have to do the same one. But she limits it because to 6 to 8 of them, because she has to have those extra ingredients. Like I know we've needed to use like garlic, so she's had it there, or maybe salt. You know, she has some of that stuff there, so she has to narrow it a little bit. But I did see a paleo recipe. I saw a 21-day fix recipe. I think we're going to do family favorite dinners. I've seen that on there. So yeah, you're welcome, Melissa, and hang in there. It is just, it's a tough time period. Actually, I think the Melissa who asked that question hopped off. So maybe I'm getting my 2 Melissas mixed up. All right, guys. I'll wait, make sure there's no, I know there's a lag on Periscope. So as long as there aren't any, oh, Megan, thank you. It's the 2 M's I'm getting mixed up. Thank you, Melissa. It was Megan who asked this on Brave Scopes. So Megan, if you watch the replay, hang in there. We have all been there with little ones clinging to us during, I think someone on here, Melissa, it might have been you, is the arsenic hour. That sounds so much more poisonous than the witching hour. I love it. All right. Bye, guys. Have a great weekend. I am going to head off and make dinner. Speaking of dinner, wine o'clock. I guess we all come up with our survival for that time period. All right, guys. Bye. Thanks a lot.